So we're jumping straight into the action. It's day 2 of County Cup and Yorkshire are taking on Essex. By now you know my morning routine. In the previous video I explained a lot about County Cup. Now we're just going to get straight into the matches. So we'd warmed up around 8 AM, watched and supported the rest of the team and waited to play my singles. I handed in my bats as normal. I use a freshly strung racket every match with a fresh grip. You may have noticed I'm using a different racket, loving a bit of the head extreme at the minute. Right, let's get into the match. So once again I was playing number 1 for Yorkshire and today I was taking on Rob Carter. I think I'd played Rob twice before, and on one of those occasions it was actually when I qualified and got my first world ranking point about 8 years ago. He's had a career high of 803 in the world, so a very quality player. Although he isn't playing anymore and he's been coaching for the last few years, I was still aware that he's a very good player and it was still going to be a tough match. So learning from the mistakes of my previous match against Mark Whitehouse, I was going for a higher percentage of first serves and trying to stick closer to the baseline and be more aggressive. I didn't want to let my opponent get on top of points. So the courts at Bath were pretty brand new and they were really slow. Normally I play quite flat and aggressive, but I was finding that going with more aggressive shape, trying to use the angles a little bit more, open up the court, slightly less pace was a lot more effective. And it was also giving me more time against people who hit the ball harder. So in this first service game, I did get a little bit fortunate. Things did go my way. I got an early break and the momentum was with me. But as we know in tennis, things can change pretty quickly. So I was facing 3 break points on my serve. I'd taken my foot off the gas a little bit, given a few errors, and my opponent had played a few decent points. So I had to go back to basics, slow the ball down, focus on moving my opponent around the court a little bit and wait for a shorter ball to attack. For me, these moments just require a lot of patience, and I think that was a pretty generous call. So 3 break points saved, back at deuce, but still not completely safe yet. Had to play with really good margin, be solid and just show the intention that I'm not going to miss. So you can see how close the margins are in tennis. That could have easily been 2-1 on serve, but instead it's 3-love. I feel like 2-1 is very different to 3-love. And with my opponent putting in a pretty ruthless game here, it's a good job I did hold because the pressure would have been right on me at 2-all. Late was an understatement on that one. I feel like the first 2 points of the game are really important. If I'm going to be playing at a higher level next year, I really need to lock in these moments. I'm giving away far too many cheap errors, and I feel like my serve actually helps me to dig myself out of these situations quite a lot. Getting very lucky there with a backhand down the line. Did not mean to do that. I still feel like my depth in the rallies needs to be a lot better, but it's getting there. The more I'm getting comfortable in matches, that will come. I feel like in this game I was really able to loosen off, and although I made a few more errors, they were more positive errors. I was going after it a little bit more, which at 4-1 I've got the freedom to do so with the scoreline. I feel like I was very lucky again there to get the break. Looking back, this set was far closer than the scoreline suggests. It could have easily been 4-2 or 3-all at this stage. So I took the first set 6-1 and I was looking to carry on that momentum in the second set. And I knew that my opponent was probably going to come out swinging, so I had to keep my foot on the gas and keep aggressive. This is more like the level of serving required to play professional tennis. My serve is normally one of my biggest weapons. Once I'm comfortable in a match, then I feel like I can start using it really effectively. I feel like all of the matches that I've played in the last few months, I've struggled to deal with nerves and pressure. And this is one of the first times where I felt more comfortable and I felt like I've really been able to stick to my game style. And my level was pretty consistent throughout the whole match. Saying that, I still had to be careful. I was 3-love up, but tennis can change very quickly. I felt like I was pretty lucky to manage another sneaky hold there. Again, this set is far closer than the scoreline suggests. Almost like in the match that I played against Mark Whitehouse in the previous video. I felt like that match was closer than the scoreline suggested. And with a few games here and there, could have easily changed. Not sure if that was an attempt at a drop shot. I was really feeling my serve in this match. I felt like it was back to the level that I was playing about a year ago when I was about 1,000 in the world. Like I say, I was 5-1 up, but I still had to be careful. My opponent was serving well and his backhand is money. I was struggling to deal with the pace coming from that side. It was quite heavy, and even though the courts were pretty slow, it still came through really quick. Cheeky. So, I was serving for the match. Could I continue the level of serving that I had throughout the whole match? So I managed to take the second set and the match. Again, far closer than the scoreline suggests. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for next time, where I'll be taking on a top 250 player.